kicked off an EasyJet flight for wearing clothing that was too revealing. Harriet Osborne, a 31-year-old mother of two, was heading home from her holiday in Spain when a flight attendant didn't let her board. The attendant said she needed to put a top over her see-through blouse, but Osborne says she complied with the request and still wasn't allowed to board, having to spend the night at the airport as a result.
I never show my body off at home, but I felt spontaneous as I was on holiday. It made me feel so self-conscious. The crew were horrible and made me feel cheap. She said, "You need to put a top on." Then she ordered me off the plane, so of course I put a top on. When I tried to get back on, she turned to the ground crew and said, "She's not coming on my plane." I was in shock. It was so sexist.
EasyJet, however, claims that the passenger was kicked off the plane for, quote, behaving disruptively towards the flight attendant. We spoke to TV and radio host Karen Turk about the situation.
I think the situation is pretty hypocritical. I looked up this airline's policy on breastfeeding, and they seem to be very open-minded. And I don't think it was right for the airline to kick her off just for having a revealing top on. I definitely think it is sexist. You know, you can't say that a woman can breastfeed on an airplane, and that's not offensive, but yet her bearing some cleavage and a revealing shirt is offensive. You kind of can't have it both ways. But I also don't know what her reaction was to this flight attendant calling her out. I don't think the flight attendant should have called her out at all. But I think somebody who is wearing a shirt like this obviously wants to be noticed. Seems like she might have been a little disruptive to the flight crew. Absolutely think that that's unacceptable behavior on an airplane. That's not something that any airline tolerates. But I don't think that she should have necessarily been called out publicly. There could have been a way for the airline to handle this tactfully, and there could have been a way for the stewardess to handle it tactfully.